thanks for taking some time to kind of readjust and everything. Festivals are always a weird beast.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, kind of making it back here, and it's like, all right, you're going here, 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 here. So yeah, I appreciate you being able to adjust the timeline a little bit. But welcome to lovely, lovely post-hurricane Louisville.
I know. I'm glad the show went on, though.
I know, yeah. I mean, yesterday, not so much.
Yep.
Things got canceled yesterday, which that sucked.
Yeah.
Did you get in this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, we got into Louisville last night about midnight, 1 a.m., so.
All right. Well, you missed the worst of it then.
Yeah.
So, you know, you lucked out there at least. But I do have to ask the obvious question, being here in Louisville, we're the bourbon capital of America. Are you a bourbon drinker?
I used to be. I don't drink anymore.
Okay.
But I used to love me some bourbon. So.
All right. Have you ever tried non-alcoholic bourbon before?
I have not.
So when we wrap up, I've told this to a few people because, like, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, well, I don't drink anymore. There's a company here in Louisville that does non-alcoholic bourbon.
I'd love to try it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but it's I think you'll be interested in it. But again, welcome to Louisville and Louder Than Life. You played your set already. So how was the atmosphere of the rain and the crowd and all of that? I mean, it's a little bit early and everybody's kind of in that, like, I don't give a fuck because I'm already wet kind of mode.
They partied, man. There was a mosh pit out there, and they were sending it. It was great. It was drizzling while we played. Now it seems to be kind of raining, so.
Yeah, it's coming down a little bit more now, so you lucked out there at least to a certain degree. Like, have you done a lot of, like, the outdoor festivals where the weather's been like this?
Yeah, we got shut out at Rocklahoma. Minutes before we went on stage, they called it. And we flew in, drove in. We had crew from all over the country. That one was terrible.
That's
It was
brutal.
like 5 minutes. I was already vocal warmed up, stretched, ears were in, and bam, they called the whole show.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks. I mean, I understand, like, you know, they do it for safety and everything, but yeah, like that close to it, it's like that's a bummer. But do you feel that these kinds of crowds, when it is like kind of shitty weather outside, that you feel like they get like a little more rowdy?
Oh yeah, they're definitely sending it. And I didn't slip and fall. That was good.
That's always a plus.
I was
like
worried
that.
I was gonna eat shit, and I did not, so that was good.
I mean, we like that. We don't want anybody getting hurt out there. But so tell me a little bit about, you know, this, you know, the festival setting. Obviously, it's a different beast than a regular, you know, just tour, you know, that regular headlining set and everything. So, you know, what's going on mentally in the back of your head where it's like, okay, like, I'm playing this festival and you're going to have a crowd of people that, you know, you hope more know you than don't. But you know, going in, there's going to be people that have never heard of you before.
Oh, yeah. I'd venture to say a lot of these people haven't heard of me, maybe most of them. And so winning over the crowd is I like playing for strangers more than I do my own fans. I like that. I like the being against the odds, you know, like, all right, I have 30 minutes to make you like me. Yeah. Here we go.
I mean, I love it. And I mean, again, how do you feel you went percentage-wise with
great. Yeah, they're going off, and then by the end, they're all singing Devil You Know, because they're like, oh, I know that song from the radio.
Yep.
So.
I was gonna say, like, that's one that we played on Alt 105.1, and I mean,
thank you.
Of course, the new album is out now and everything. So, you know, tell me a little bit about this album in particular and how this has been like a new, or not, I shouldn't say new, an evolved version of who you are as a songwriter and as a musician.
Yeah, so it was a really needed progression to get out. I moved out of Nashville, packed my shit, moved back to Montana, and made a rock record. And we've always been, if you go back to like 2008, I made Tim Montana and the Shrednecks. It's a rock record too. But this time we really leaned into it. And I've, you know, honed my songwriting skills for 17 years in Nashville, so I feel like I can bring some songwriting to the rock space because, you know, Nashville is the best songwriters out there, period. Like, those dudes kick your butt in the room every day. And I've written with some of the best. So making this record is like the chains off. I could talk about what I wanted to talk about, subject matter. I didn't have to play by the Nashville rules, which the box is the size of a freaking Cheerio for the rules down there.
It's the size of like downtown Nashville, like that small little area.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so getting to make a rock record is very liberating. So,
I was gonna say, I mean, like that must have been like the whole reason. It's like I want to go back to those rock roots and escape that box and everything.
And one of my buddies, since I moved back home, is like, "Isn't it funny you're making the exact same music you were when you were 17 years old?" and you're finally, have been successful. But like, sorry, I took a little departure into Nashville for 17, 18 years. So
I mean, it's still like good experience overall to have.
Yeah, I learned a lot, met some great people, and like I said, the songwriting world, I learned a lot in the songwriting room. Just getting in there with the big boys, getting your butt kicked, and coming out a better writer at the end of it. So.
I mean, you've been making music for pretty much your entire life. So like you said, doing 17 years in Nashville with songwriting, but you learned how to play guitar, at a very young age. But you were doing it by candlelight.
True story. About 5 or 6, we went off the grid, and I got a little nylon string guitar. No TV, no modern amenities whatsoever, just a lantern. I trim the wicks on the lanterns every Sunday, and I just crank it up in my room at night and play guitar to lantern light. I still have those vignettes in my head painted so perfectly with that.
So I got 2 questions about that. Number 1, why didn't you just do it during the day?
Because I was working. Okay. I was basically on a ranch, if you want to call it that, and I had a stepdad that was unruly, and it was from 6 a.m. until it was pitch black. It was manual labor, cutting trees, moving rocks, building fence, taking care of cattle. So if there's daylight, you're working.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No fun time.
No. Well, nighttime was the fun time. So, doing things with the lantern, candlelight, all that. Do you still do that every once in a while?
I haven't, because I enjoy the modern amenities of electricity. It does drive my wife nuts, though, because she'll bring up, like, TV shows that, like, everybody watched when they were kids. And I'm like,
I know.
I don't know anything about that whatsoever. I missed pop culture from the time I was 5 till I was 18. It was just, me in my room, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you ever thought, like, maybe that's going to be one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm going to go back to that time. It's like, put me in a dark room, like, dimly lit. Like, let me, like, get back to that. Like you said, like 17 years later, you're writing, these rock songs that you kind of started out with. Like, is that ever something that, like, would cross your mind of, like, this is part of this process that I want to...
I should, and we write in, like, old cabins in Montana, but we have, laptops going, and we're recording and amps, but I do have to say, if I would have had TV and video games and distractions like most kids, I don't think I would have developed a musical skill, because I'm very ADD.
Okay.
When the only thing you can do is play with your guitar, but I gotta play with it, So.
Yeah, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
It's not. So one of the things I want to ask, when it comes to, like, you've had a very long career so far, and, like, even at this point, it's like, by some standards, like, just getting going almost.
Yeah.
So with the amount of songs that you have and putting together a set list for a standard kind of headlining show, like festivals, different beats, shorter set, all that. When you think about your standard tour, the headlining show, there's always songs that make the cut, the fan favorites, the new song, whatever. What's a song that you wish you could put into your set list, but for some reason it never fits right, or you just don't have enough time?
Man, I've been supporting all year, so we've been doing 30 minutes, and we have some headline shows coming up in November. There's some one-offs, fly dates, and I'm like, oh my god, do I even know how to play 90 minutes anymore? Because I haven't revisited those songs in a year.
Yeah.
We've been out with Stained and Seether, then we went out with Bush, Jerry Cantrell.
Yep.
Now we're out with Seether and Skillet, so it's all 30-minute sets. So like last night, someone was yelling "Mostly Stoned" in the crowd. And I thought to myself, do I still know how to play that?
Yeah, it's like you just like tell everybody, be like, hold on a second, like.
Yeah, let me find it. So, and finding time to rehearse a 90 before we go out on this tour, it's like we've been running so hard that I go back home to my family, and my band lives in Nashville.
Okay.
I live in the mountains of Montana, so I'm like, where do we rehearse, in Montana or Nashville?
I mean, you're the artist, so to speak, so it's like, I'd make them come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like the selfish part of my brain. I was like, no, like, come to me instead.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome having you here, and
thanks.
Hopefully next time, it won't be such shitty weather for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the show went on, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's all we care about. The show went on, people had a good time, and we have a lovely atmosphere here.
Oh yeah, we're under a tent, so things are good.
Yes, we're not getting rained on currently.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
And thank you so much.
Thanks for supporting my music.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.